Alright, I just finished round 1 of my tournament, and now I'm on a mindfulness walk because I know for the second round, I'm gonna get paired against like a 10-year-old Indian kid that has like insane calculation skills. But round 1 was pretty easy since I was against a 1600, and now I should probably head back because I'm kind of late for my game. Bro, what am I doing? I'm actually so late. Dude, I'm like 10 minutes late for this. Alright, so this is what happened in round 1. At the time, my USCF rating was 1782, and I was playing against a 1601. And I've actually played this guy before, and I've beaten him. So I wasn't too worried about this one, but his rating has gone up since the last time I played him, but my rating has gone up too. So we open with e4, c5, and before I played knight f3, but I haven't looked at the open Sicilian in a really long time. And at my most recent tournament, I played this move a3. This is called the Mengarini Sicilian, and I wasn't too happy playing this move because I've been wanting to switch for a while, but I didn't have any time to look at any other lines. So I just decided, you know what, I played this at my last tournament, so why not play it now? So he played d5, which is one of the moves I haven't really looked at, but after take and knight f6, this is already not too great for him because as you'll see, after this check, he blocks, and I'm able to hang onto this pawn and have kind of a nice center. So Engine says it's about equal, but I feel like practically a little bit better here because it's kind of hard for him to win back this pawn. So we just trade, and I play this a4 move because I don't really like facing b5 here because like I'm just trying to stop him from expanding, and Engine doesn't really like it, but I think it's a fine move either way. And he plays g6, which makes it almost +1 for me already, and the reason is because you don't really have enough time to go for this development on this side. You just have to break with e6 immediately, and if he had done this, then like take, and he's already like striking back, targeting this, and I'm forced to play this. But I just develop my knights, and we both get castled, and then now he plays e6, and it's not as good because now when my king is safe and when both my knights are out, I'm really just doing fine here. And I go for this because I want to put my bishop on b2 and kind of have this structure on the queen side. And he plays b6, trying to put his bishop on b7. And here, a really good move would have been d4, immediately striking in the center, because if he takes and takes, I'm just doing completely fine here, and I'm just up a pawn for nothing. That's why it's +1. I'm up a pawn, and he has 0 compensation for this. But I decide to play bishop b2 because I just completely missed d4 here. But after this, here I spend a while thinking, and then I play d4. But now it's not as good because he kind of gets some counterplay in the center. So take, and then Engine says it's equal, but this immediately gives back the advantage because I'm up a pawn and I'm able to simplify with knight c6. And yeah, he's basically forced to trade queens. And after we just do a bunch more trades, and it's almost +2 because I'm cleanly up a pawn and I have like even more compensation than he does. My pieces are more active, but in the game I just want to trade more. So I played knight e4, and my idea is that we're just forced to trade the dark squared bishops because like if take, I'm winning the exchange, and so he's forced to trade, but I should have tried to keep a couple more pieces on the board, because if we trade the bishops and the knights and go into a rook endgame, it's almost definitely drawn, even if I'm up a pawn, because like rooks are really drawish. After we trade, if he had played it more accurately, he probably could have drawn. But yeah, and you see here, it's like almost equal now, because even though I'm up a pawn, we have rooks on the board, and those are drawish, and I'm forced to play rook b1 because I have to defend this, and now my rooks are really inactive, and yeah, after this, like his rooks are much more active than mine. So knight g3, and this is kind of a confusing move. His idea was to play b5 and trade off all these pawns so that he can just get these 2 rooks against these 2 pawns and my 2 rooks, but now it stops this knight e5. So I play h3, kicking away his knight, and then I try to trade the rooks off because ideally I just want to trade both of these rooks off and go into a knight endgame, because since I'm up a pawn, the knight just like with no rooks on the board, it's an easy win like that. But he doesn't trade rooks, and here, wait, what do I have here? I don't understand why this is +3. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, yeah, actually, why is this +3? I guess I'm just bringing my knight in or something. But I mean, I guess that's definitely better than what I did, which is knight f1. And the reason why this completely loses my +3 advantage is because it allows knight e4. And I mean, it doesn't win any material, but he's just crushing my position. Like every single one of my pieces is on the back rank, and his pieces are extremely active. So he's gonna most likely win back some material. And this is the engine line. Okay, well first knight e3 gets met with knight f2, and I'm losing the pawn back, and this is just equal. And then the engine line, I try to trade, but yeah, we do trade, and I mean, it gets like I'm forced to play this, and if something like this happens, and I mean, it's slightly better for me still, but he kind of like locks down my position, and it's really hard for me to maneuver if I'm tied down defending my b3 pawn, because I eventually want to go like this. But if, like, let's say this, he's just like tying down my rook to this pawn, so I don't really have much here. But he misses it and he plays b5, which gives me some of my advantage back. And then we trade, and I just push my pawn, and he pushes his pawn, and I push my pawn again. And then he stops me from pushing my pawn. And then I play my idea of knight f1, which is to just reroute my knight to e3. And then rook e6, and here I realize that I can't defend this pawn, because like if I play this, he's just gonna go here, and I can't stop him from taking this pawn. So instead, I just decide to go here, and we trade pawns like this. And here I was actually really comfortable with my position, because I have rooks like this, and all I have to do is move my rook here and push this pawn. And then I can like eventually I'll give a check and queen this with check. And so I was just kind of wondering how he would stop this. And he goes for this kind of double up, and I didn't want to trade rooks because I thought that after, like, if I just did this after we trade, it's like kind of hard for me to promote this pawn, because eventually, even if my pawn gets here, my rook is tied down on b8 defending it, so I can't do anything there. And that's why I play rook c7 to make sure that we're not able to trade it. He can't come here because of my knight. And so we do trade one of the rooks, but here I'm a little bit happier since my rook is behind my pawn instead of in front of it. And if he tries to put his rook in front of my pawn, I'm just gonna bring my knight and kick it away. So that's why I did that. And he gives me a check, which I think isn't very good, but Engine says it's like not, it doesn't change the evaluation. But this does, because like he just is giving me so much time. And I think here he should have gone back here, because I mean, it stops, like in my mind actually I was thinking if he plays rook c7 he loses, and as soon as I thought that, he played rook c7, because I just have this and I'm bringing my knight in, and he can't stop this, and I'm just pushing my pawn. And he even makes it worse for himself. He plays king e7, because now this is a fork, and he just resigns here. Bro, I literally called it. I just finished game 2, and I was paired against like a 10-year-old tiny Indian kid. I'm like double his height, and he's like 300 points lower rated than me, and we drew. Alright, I'm going to get lunch right now though, and then there's 2 rounds in the afternoon, and I think I'm gonna try to get a thumbnail before round 3, but like that means I have to bring my phone into the playing room, and if an arbiter sees me with that, I'm cooked, bro. Like, I'm permanently banned. Alright, I'm at the restaurant. I got some birria tacos. Actually looks pretty good. Alright, I just finished lunch. It was actually pretty good, but now there's like 20 minutes until the next round, and I'm gonna go in and try to go into the playing room and try to get a thumbnail. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm actually kind of scared, since if they like catch me with my phone, or if there's anyone still playing in there, then I'm kind of cooked. But we'll see what happens. I was so salty after that game, because his rating is 1445. I'm literally more than 300 points high rated than him, and we somehow drew. Like, that's actually going to be insanely bad for my rating. But anyway, so he starts out with d4, and I play knight f6. I'm a Grunfeld player, but he goes into London. And I haven't looked at these lines in a while, but the only line I know how to play against this is c5. This is like, I think this is Agad Mator's anti-London system, and I actually have his chessable course. I mean, it's free, but yeah, I mean, I do pretty well with it, usually, but I haven't looked at it in a while, which is why I kind of was unprepared in the opening. But yeah, all right, d5, d6, knight c3, and I just strike in the middle, and he en passants me, and I take with my bishop. And I thought I had a pretty good position here since I have pretty good control of the center, and he doesn't really have much going for him. But I mean, we just developed normally. I play a6 because I was kind of scared of like if I just try this, I was scared of this. I didn't see any way for me to defend this actually, but engine is saying a6, and what if he takes? Take. Wait, I did something wrong. Take queen b6. Okay, wait. This is insane actually. Why is it -3? Wait, let's say he goes here. I take rook b1. I take. He takes. Check here. Check here. Check here. Take. Oh, long castle, and I pick up the rook. No, okay. Well, that's the engine sequence. How am I supposed to see that? Okay, anyways. So I mean a6 is fine though. It's just a prophylaxis move. Prophylaxis. So okay, knight c6, and I mean we just develop in castle. e4, b5. My idea is just take the queen side, and I want to play b4 because then his knight has to move, and I'm just winning this. So he goes here, and I thought I was winning material here after knight a5, and he makes a mistake because now it's -1 because take, and here I'm supposed to play queen e7 because like it's kind of unclear why, but my knights are just pretty strong, and this bishop is really bad. So I just have more active pieces, and I'm gonna play rook d8, and I mean it makes sense why it's -1 then, I guess. But I decided to take on e2 instead with check, and after take, it's not as good for me, but it's still decent. So okay, knight f4, bishop g4. And now I'm putting a lot of pressure on his queen. So he plays rook e1, and I thought I played a pretty slick move, queen b7, because my idea is to, like, whenever I move my knight, I'm just gonna reveal an attacker on this knight, and I'm gonna damage his structure like that. But c3 stops that, and I thought I was still gonna damage his structure because I was just thinking, I'm gonna go here, he's gonna go here, I'm gonna go here, and he can't defend this anymore. But after this, I didn't realize that if I go here, he can take, and that's mate. And then I thought for a really long time, like I thought for like 30 minutes here on f6. And my idea is, if he tries to fork me like this, I'm obviously not going to take and relieve all my pressure. I'm going to play here, and if he takes, I'm going to go here. And if he takes, take here, I'm attacking this, and I'm attacking this. So I'm just gonna be up a piece here, and so he definitely saw that, which is why he didn't play knight e6 and he played h3 instead, and then I still go into this line with the queen for the 2 rooks, and here again I thought for a really long time because I wasn't sure if I should trade, if I should go here or something, if I should back up here, but in the end I decided to trade, and my idea was I want my queen to somehow end up on c2 because then I'm just taking all of his pawns and bothering all of his pieces. And so the way that I can do that is by playing queen d7. It prompts rook e3, and I'm going here, and so I'm attacking the knight, and if his rook moves, I get in here, and if he defends his knight, I'm going, like, if he defends it like this, I'm going here, removing his knight, and I'm winning this. So he goes here. I play knight e5 because I don't want to trade. But in hindsight, actually, I should have traded. I should have just traded and gone for this or something. This knight here is so much stronger than this knight, even on e5. Hold up. Oh my god, what did I just do? Yeah, this knight, because it's blocking this. And so if he ever checks me, I have to go back, and he's going to check me again, and I have to go back again. And it's like, I can't do anything there. So I should have just traded and tried to take all his pawns with my queen. But after this, I go queen c2, and here, wait, no, actually before this, like way before this, I think after rook d6, he started spamming me with draw offers. Here he sent me a draw offer. here he sent me another draw offer. Like every move he was giving me a draw offer, and that was like in the back of my mind, bro. I thought, like after queen c2 rook a6, he was like, oh, I think this is a draw, and I'm like, no, let's play it out. And he's like, okay, and he got up and started like walking around and looking at other boards, but eventually I did agree to a draw here because like I mean the engine says it's equal, but I'd say white actually has more practical chances. Alright, I just finished round 3. That game was a grind, but I managed to win the end game, and I thought someone was behind me. And if I win my next game, I have a good chance of getting like a prize or something. I probably won't be clear first because the max I can get is 3.5 out of 4, but I'll probably like I'll at least tie for second. That's the least I'll get if I win my next game, but if I lose, I get nothing. So I have to lock in for the next game. Again, my opponent is a 1400, so automatically anything worse than a win is just a bad result for me. But I go for my favorite opening, e4, and we get a French defense. And I am very comfortable in the French because I've actually been looking at it for the past couple weeks, and I've just played it so many times, I know exactly what to do. So we go into a main line with this a3, and my idea is to play b4 and just relinquish the pressure on b2 so my bishop can eventually move. So he closes down the structure, but now there's no tension here anymore. And I just develop normally. He plays bishop d7, we just develop. And here, I just take in castle. Very normal stuff. And here, his move kind of confused me actually because he just castled. But I think a better move is definitely knight a5 because, okay, I mean, engine doesn't like it. But, I mean, practically though, I think knight a5 is better because it just stops b3 because, like, b3, take, and then bishop a4 is very strong. So it kind of stops me from expanding on the queen side, which is my whole idea, because otherwise I just have no play here. Like if he plays knight a5, I just don't really have any good ideas. I wouldn't really want to play knight e5 because then my structure is kind of bad, and this is like kind of a weakness, I guess. Though engine says it's +1 because I guess knight g8 is forced. Okay, anyways. After castle, I play b3. And this is my entire idea. I just want to expand on the queen side. And again, he plays a kind of a weird move, queen d8, completely giving up this b7 pawn. And I actually talked to him after this tournament, and he says that the idea with this is that he just has compensation in the forms of like rook b8 and expanding in the center like this. And that's exactly what he... Okay, hold on. Okay, well, he starts with knight e4, which is a mistake because I can just take very simply. He takes back, and I go bishop g5, and I'm completely fine here. I just play knight d2, and he just has no compensation. He has no attack. I'm just up a pawn, and my queen is very active. But I instead go queen b3, which immediately loses all my advantage. And I was just kind of uncomfortable having my queen here because I was just kind of scared of it getting trapped. But in hindsight, there's no chance for him to trap my queen here. Bishop c8 loses this. Rook b8. I just go queen a6. So there's just nothing. I should have just taken. But I wanted to defend this with my queen. Anyways, here take. I have to take with my knight to defend c3, and then he opens up the center. And here I think I thought for like 30 minutes because I was thinking of a way to stop his attack and like if he had anything. I was scared of like some bishop h2 ideas eventually if I trade everything here, and maybe like bishop a2, queen h4, like knight f7, eventually stuff like that. It's very scary. At least I thought it was. But I eventually played knight bd2, and my idea is that I want him to take, and I'll just take, and so h2 is covered, and I just bring my pieces to defend my king. But he instead played bishop f5, which I calculated. I played queen b3, and he goes bishop c7, which defends d5. And then I take and play knight g5, and like I'm definitely doing better here. But he goes for kind of an interesting move, queen d6, and I, of course, since I actually do my tactics, I immediately saw if I take, he has check, and take and mate. So I can't do that, even though this is technically a free bishop since this is pinned. So I just play g3 to stop the mate threat, and it seems like my light squares are kind of weak, but he really has no way of exploiting that weakness. So he has to defend this bishop, and he moves his king so that if I take, it's not pinned anymore, but I still do take, and I go queen b4 because I'm up a pawn here, and I just want to simplify. So I'm attacking this, and I'm x-raying this rook. So if he like moves his queen, I take here, and if he tries to defend this, I take the rook. So he goes for this check, and I just calmly slide back, and he goes for this idea, because if after I take, he takes here. Here, it's like engine, look at the engine. It gets really bad for him after bishop d3, because g6 is the only move to not get mated, but bishop h6, and he just decides to give up the exchange. And I mean, it's just completely winning for me here. I'm up an exchange, and his king is much weaker than mine. So I just try to like maneuver around my pieces and get everything more active. And here I got too long time, so I stopped notating. But I mean, there's just no chance for me to lose this. We're both kind of in a time scramble, but like, how could I possibly lose this? All right, like I said, this was the most important game of the tournament, because if I win this, I win $200, and my rating like gets to above 1800. So this is very important for me, but I think this was one of the worst games I have ever played in my life. Because like after I've been playing chess for like almost like 8 hours at this point, and my brain was just cooked. So it was kind of hard for me to think, but also we go into this opening, and I have never like fully studied this knight f3 move, but I know knight c3 very well with like the Grunfeld main line. That's what I was hoping he went into. But since I'm a Grunfeld player, my idea is just to always go d5, like d5 take, and usually after e4 there's a knight here for me to take. But in this case there wasn't anything. So knight b6, and he just gets the full center. And I thought that this was okay for me, but after the game, he talked to me and was like, "Hey man, you can't do that. You're like, if you just give me the full center, then you just have no play." And he was right, because like he was like pushing me in the middle game now, and it's hard for me to do anything. So I go here, and now already it's +1. He just has the complete center. My pieces are pretty bad. I'm castled, but he can castle very easily. So bishop e2, and my idea is that I want to eventually play knight a6 and c5. Engine says I can play c5 now, but it's kind of dubious. And I'm just calculating all these lines with like knight b5 eventually, maybe like c5 now. I looked at knight c6, and then here it's complicated. But I decided I'm gonna play e3, and I'm hoping that he kicks my bishop so I can take and then play knight a6. And that's exactly what happens. So he castles, which I didn't think was great for him, but engine says it's fine. And then I play c5. Here I was expecting him to take, but he ends up pushing, which engine says it's better. So I guess, what do I know? But I take, and then I put my knight in the middle, kicking away his bishop. And I don't know how, but I just completely missed that this bishop attacked this knight when I was calculating knight e5. But I mean, thankfully it doesn't really lead to anything. But I was thinking of all the ways I can like maneuver my pieces to better squares and like get like better, like just untangle my position. And the best way I thought I could do that was just by going back, because I have to defend this pawn, right? And I'm gonna play knight c7, knight e6 eventually. So he plays queen b3, attacking b7, and I just go back because there's this interesting line. If he takes, I go here. Like if he takes, I take, and now I'm doing much better. I'm attacking a lot of his pieces. My bishop is opened up, and I'm a lot happier here than I am here. So he plays rook d1, and I try to solidify my pawn structure by going b6. And I was expecting him to take, which is better, but he goes a6, which isn't bad, but it kind of allows me to untangle at least a little bit. But as you'll see, I mess this up. I snap play rook e8 because at this point I only have like 10 minutes left compared to his like 40 minutes or something, because I spent so much time looking for any like defensive resources that I had. He pushes and puts his bishop on this insanely strong diagonal, and I'm just playing really quickly here because my time is already getting very low. Here, he has this move. Okay, no, he plays knight b5, and then I try to maneuver a little bit. I attack his bishop, and if he had played bishop b7, this would have ended the game on the spot, because this is just completely winning, because there's no way for me to defend a7, and after he takes, he's gonna easily be able to push this pawn, and I have to sack in exchange for it. But at that point, I'm just completely lost. So he didn't play it though. He played bishop d5 for some reason, and now I'm able to play queen d7 and defend my a7 pawn. He takes, which actually gives me back my advantage, and now my position is fine actually, because I have much more space. He lost his strongest piece for no good reason. Like, this bishop is insanely strong, controlling this entire very important diagonal, and my knight here isn't doing much. So this is definitely a very big positional error by him. But we maneuver around our pieces a little bit, and here, okay. My idea with this is I'm thinking like, what tactics do I have to win the game or turn over the game? And I was thinking, this knight is loose. My idea is to go here and win the knight, right? So he plays queen d3, and I go here, attacking the knight. And my idea is, I want to go here, reveal and attack here. And I've been thinking about this for a while now. He plays b3. He just blunders knight e5 and the knight. But since I only have like 5 minutes left at this point, I'm like, okay, I won the knight. I'm just gonna take it. I snap took his knight, and I allow f4, which immediately wins back the piece. My knight has nowhere to go. Cause so bad. Cause I was scared that if I go here, he gets some kind of play like this. But I don't know why I was scared of this. Just rook d8 and I'm completely fine. Like, I can trade queens and then play rook d8. Like, I don't know why I was scared of this. Just if I had taken this with my queen, I would have won $200 that night. Anyways, so here I do get 2 pawns in exchange for the piece, but I'm not nearly as winning as I was if I had just kept that knight. And this is still very hard to play, since d6 is a very powerful asset for the white pieces. Which is why, since I'm up 2 pawns, it's not -2, it's only -0.4. But we maneuver around our pieces a little bit, and yeah, I mean, okay, and then I blunder again, because it allows this, and if I take here, this is just hanging, right? That was my idea. I thought that he can't go here because he hangs this, but I just completely missed that it attacks my bishop on d5. But the engine line here is like this, and it's just completely lost. But he misses it and plays queen c2, and now I'm back to winning because I'm just up 2 pawns. And I play king g7 because I want to avoid any checks, because like, obviously I want to play f6 and solidify my bishop, but I'm kind of scared of any checks. So I play king g7, and then I play f6. And here, he blunders the game away, because he went over this with me after the game, and I just have mate. I can win. I can just take the bishop for free. And it's mate. He just doesn't have anything here, but I have like 2 minutes left on the clock at this point, so I play rook a1, and this blunders rook e5, and I just lose a piece, and this is completely lost. I went from up a piece to up 2 pawns to having mate to completely lost endgame. Yeah, and I mean, I still fight on. I try to somehow bring my king in and push my queenside pawns, but here I just resign because I have like 10 seconds left. and it's impossible for me to win this. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed my chess tournament experience. And losses like that happen all the time for chess players. Like, I've lost positions where I was completely winning, like, more times than I can remember, actually. So, it happens. And if you want to see more videos like this, let me know. See you.